in the Hispanic newspaper Identidad Latina. In 2005, Hillstead Museum published her bilingual poetry collection, The Battlefield of Your Body. I'm glad to see Allison Myers back with us today, who ran the Sunken Garden series so ably for so long. It's a pleasure to see her here with us. Now, in addition to this, she was also named a living legend, if you can imagine, by St. Joseph's College. So we have our living legend with us here today. She's also won so many significant awards that if I went through them, you would start throwing your lamps and whatever else you have available at me. But most recently, it's the 2009 Outstanding Latina Cultural Arts, Literary Arts and Publications Award from the American Association of Hispanics in Higher Education in San Antonio. I got through that one. However, I think maybe I can tell you all something about Bessy you might not know. At this summer's Connecticut Poetry Society's picnic that was held at my home at Morgan Point, Bessy tried in vain to teach me how to apply her behavior modification techniques that she learned in psychology at Mount Holyoke to train my grandchildren to behave. She was just sure that I needed to be rescued from myself. Now, that's how I learned that she's been actively involved in encouraging literacy since her early days in college, where she trained mice and pigeons to read. Her pigeons had to read fast and peck fast, then read slow and peck slow. After that, they learned to recognize significant letters. Now, I suspect that Bessy is probably the only recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award for service to the literary community that has actually taught mice and pigeons to recognize letters. Today, this Lifetime Achievement Award expresses our gratitude, Bessy, for continuing your devotion to fostering the literary arts. In particular, I think we're all particularly grateful that you've now turned your focus and energy from mice and pigeons to people. In the state of Connecticut, I present to you Bessy Reyna.
Oh my God, this is overwhelming. Bessy Reyna's speechless. It's like a real happening. I want to thank Vivienne for her unique biographical introduction and for her friendship, since we met many years ago when we were both members of the Center for the Book. I'm very grateful to the Connecticut Center for the Book for having selected me for this award. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank so many of you here today whose writing has inspired me, and those of you who work so hard to preserve, support, and nurture literature in Connecticut, particularly Cat Lyons, who is hiding back there somewhere, and is really the moving force behind this wonderful ceremony. I want to say something in Spanish to my amigos que están allá en la esquina, mi fan club over here. Thanks so much for being here for me today. And also, a very special thanks to my friend Roberto, who almost gave me a heart attack when I walked into the library, because he flew all the way from Mexico to surprise me. And when I saw him, I couldn't believe it. So, gracias, Gordo. I have to confess that since Vivienne called me to tell me about the award, I have been overcome with nostalgia, reminiscing about the role literature has had in my life, what it's meant to me, and why I have such a passionate commitment to share it with others. If it takes a village to raise a child, then it takes many communities to nurture a writer. And those people who encouraged, supported, and challenged me are the ones I remember most today. Beginning with my 4th grade teacher in Cuba, who chose me to learn poetry and recite it in the assemblies on Fridays. She made me love going to that school so much that I didn't mind stepping around broken windshield glass and bullet casings from the shootings between Batista and Castro's supporters during pre-revolutionary days in Havana. I grew up in a home with few books, with parents whose circumstances did not allow them to finish their schooling. But they instilled in my brother and I the idea that nothing would prevent us from going to college. You can and you will go to college was the mantra we were raised with. Luckily, books have always had an irresistible magnet and safe haven for me. While attempting to make the innumerable adjustments to life as an immigrant